Hi, this is the Astell Kern AK240, and we're going to do a little video here about the user interface of this device. I'll also have a YouTube review of the entire device that you'll be able to take a look at as well if you check out the YouTube channel. So this is the screen, the main screen for the device, the home screen, that has all the various ways to get at songs and albums and genres and so on, and they do what you expect. If I click on songs, it's going to show me all the songs on the device. There's also a little button up here in the corner where I can click also mastering quality sound, MQS, and this is going to show all the high resolution files, so any of the files on the unit that are above CD quality rates, so anything above 1644 will show up. And then if I click DSD, it's going to show me all the native DSD files on the device that I could play. So I'll go back to songs. And this, now we're back onto the main screen here. I can also select artists, and it'll show me all the artists on the machine. And at this point, I'll go back to all, so it shows all of the artists regardless of the bit rate. This is a Android interface. It has quite a lot of features that they really don't even talk about in the manuals. For example, you can actually take the button for genres and move it, and now it will switch places with the buttons for folders. So these buttons are even movable around the front of the device. So let's go pick a song. I'll take artists, and let's see, I'm going to scroll to Steely Dan, and of course I could keep on going like this till I get the S, but I also got this handy scroll bar on the side to rapidly get to where I'm looking for. And there's a Steely Dan, and I've got Gaucho in FLAC, and here we have the Steely Dan album, and I'll just start playing that. So now we're on the play screen, and you can see the scrubber for the song is down here, and I can fast forward to any point on the song, and pause and play, obviously, and to track forward or track back. There's also, if I tap on the screen here, I can get lyrics if there are any, which this song doesn't have any, but I can also get information on the track, so whether if it's got a genre and what the file path name is and what the file type is and how large it is and so on and so forth. And I can also from this screen add it to a playlist. So these are my playlists, and I guess I'd add this to rock, so yeah, I could click rock, and now that track will be on the rock playlist. There is an invisible button down here. This is the home button, so I can go back to the home page. So anywhere you're at on the screens, you can always push the button on the bottom and go back to the home page. So now we'll do take a look at some of the settings here. And here we have the Wi-Fi. We can turn the Wi-Fi on and off, and the Wi-Fi is used both for updating the firmware on the device, and you can stream music from a server in your home, and we'll get to that in just a minute. There's also Bluetooth on the device that I can turn on, and then I can use this as a source for a streaming speaker, or I can attach my phone to the device, and if my phone rings, I'll get a little alert on this device that my phone is ringing. Also has an equalizer. This is a really cool feature. On the Astell Kern AK240, previously it was a 5-band equalizer, and now there are 10 bands. There are two ways to set the equalizer. One is you can just draw with your finger a frequency response curve, and it will try to match the shape of that curve by moving all the sliders, and that's really cool. The only problem I have with it is that if you want to make fine adjustments, you have to pick one of the sliders and move it up and down, but I found that it's not so easy to pick the button, and then you accidentally will draw a line on the screen and you saw those two faders moving. So sometimes it's hard to pick each one. You have to be very careful with your finger placement. Nonetheless, it's a very nice equalization ability to set, and then you can take one. So I'm going to make one right here, and I can well, really what I have to do, I want to start from let's start again here. I'm going to tap on the screen, I'll reset that. That's my flat EQ, and then I'll go back to the drop down menu, add a new, we'll call this test. Oops, fat fingered that one. There we go, test, and add, and then now I can put that on there. And then if I go to flat, it'll show me the flat one, and then if I go back to test, it'll have that one stored in it automatically. So it's a very nice equalization setting. The one thing I'll note is that there is a Pro EQ setting, and you can't see what it is. But in the article on Interfidelity about the AK120, I do have a frequency response plot of the Pro EQ, which basically just emphasizes some of the mid-range. Also, let's see, we'll go back to the settings page where we were. There's gapless playback. There's the ability to turn on the line output. If I try to adjust the volume, you can see that you can turn the line output from on there as well, and then once the line output is set, you can no longer adjust the volume. So you have to turn the line output off, and then you can adjust the volume either on the screen or by the thumb wheel. So it's a very, very convenient way to adjust the volume. There's a balanced output on the top of the unit on the 2.5 millimeter jack, and you enable it there, and that turns off the regular headphone jack. I've also got a left and right balance control, so you can adjust the balance of the unit like that. And let me get it back to 60 on both sides. Alright, and brightness control for the brightness of the display, obviously, just up and down, as you can see. And then the themes, there's a number of themes. I use just the plain gray background, but they have kind of leather backgrounds as well. I'll go back to the one that I normally use. Obvious things, date and time, what language it's using, what kind of power settings are set for turning the display on and off, whether the USB connection is currently being used for transferring media or as a DAC. So this changes the input on the bottom of the unit, the USB input. So now you could use the AK240 as a DAC, and then when it's clicked in this direction, MTP, you can transfer files to the device. So if you're, the download allows you to select the folder that the downloads go to. There is a download service in the Asia, but it's not available in the US. But I believe you can also download files from a local server when you're using it in the MQS, Mastering Quality Sound, server mode from one of your servers at home. And then here's the update button. This one allows you to update your system over the Wi-Fi, and of course there's no new software to update at the moment because I'm up on the latest, except that evidently there is an update for the application, and I believe this is the download site Groovers, but I'm not going to do that right now. System information tells you what's going on in the system, how much memory is used, and so on and so forth. So now I'm going to go back to the home screen. This is the MQS streaming button. Now if I go to look at the folders on this device, in the folder view, the top level is going to show me my SD card and internal storage when I've got an SD card mounted in here, which I do at the moment. So I could go to my SD card and play songs that are on the SD card, or look at the folders on the internal hard drive. When you pick songs or albums or artists, it will show you what's available on all the folders. Okay, but if I go to master quality streaming, it's now going to look on my network for an MQS streaming server, which I have on my office computer. And in this case, this is a Windows machine, but you can also use it on an Apple machine. You do have to load MQS streaming server software. It will not stream from an NAS hard drive, but you can map your NAS hard drive to your computer that's hosting the MQS software and then play files through the map drive, which is what I have. So now we're looking at my MQS server, and if I look at the folders now, it's only going to have one folder, which is the music folder on my server. And so now this is all the songs that are on the server folder that I've mapped over to that drive at the moment. Alright, I'll go back to the main screen here, and then the last little bit here is there is a drop-down menu that I can bring from the top that allows me to access to a number of the features that were available in the settings screen, and I also get notifications on the bottom here. So the notification that's available now is to eject, to dismount and eject the SD card, which I won't do at the moment, but you'll also see messages here if it's ready to have an update. So you'll see an update available here if there's a new update available that you haven't seen in the updates screen. Here we have, of course, the screen brightness again. This turns the Wi-Fi on and off. There's a Bluetooth on and off button. There's a lock for the volume control button. So this lock, when you turn the screen off, prevents the volume control from doing anything. But if I turn that lock off and then the screen blanks as it times out, now the volume control will remain active with the lock off. This is the button that changes the USB connector from media transfer to a digital analog converter. This turns the EQ off. When you turn the EQ off, it does remain flat, but it does increase in volume about 3 or 4 dB, and some people have said it changes the EQ. I did test this. As I said, I have a frequency response plot of the EQ in a couple of different modes in the article on Interfidelity. So you can turn the EQ off and it does default to flat, but it is louder than the flat setting on the EQ. This turns gapless playback on and off, the balanced output on and off, and this one is a new one that showed up on one of my updates, and I haven't been able to figure out what it does yet, so somebody in the comments can tell me what it does. But I thought it was the line output, but it doesn't appear to do the line output, so not sure what that is. This is the whether to play random mode or straight through, and then of course repeat mode, one track, all, and then no repeat. So that's all these screens on the drop down device. The last but not least very cool little piece of information is these two buttons on top. These are the search buttons. So I can go to my server and I can search for let's say Ricky Lee Jones. So I start typing R-I-C-K-I-E, and it's going to take a second to search for it, but there it is. If, however, you go back and look on this device, if I search on this device for Ricky Lee Jones, it's much faster in its search, and now it's going to bring up options as I push the buttons, and you'll see here very quickly that Ricky Lee Jones should be coming up to the top pretty quick. There you go. So there's the Ricky Lee Jones pop songs that are on one of my lists. So search function is very good. Also displays how much battery life is left. It shows 92% that the Wi-Fi is on. Shows some of the modes that are operating and whether it's currently playing a song and so on and so forth. And very quickly I'm back to my song track that happens to be currently playing. So a very responsive, very fully featured set of controls here. Oh, one last control that I do need to show you is that it's very cool is how quickly it'll make a playlist. So I'm going to go to my playlist here, and there are most played and recently added, and then there's the actual playlist you set up. So I'm going to the playlist I set up, and I've got one called Test, and so I'll click on that. Let's say I just remove that one, and oh, I know how I have to remove it. I'm going to hold down on this, and then I'm going to slide it into the garbage like that. Very cool. Now that test playlist is gone. Now if I click Add Playlist, I'm going to create a new one called Test. Okay, create. So now I've got a new playlist called Test. So let's say I wanted to actually call that female jazz. So let's find some female jazz artists to put on there. Well, of course, the easiest way is to just find artists, and I'll go through here. And Anna Karam, of course, would be a jazz artist, and I can simply drag and drop her up onto the Add Playlist button, and then I select which playlist I want to put her on, and she's on the playlist. And let's say Aretha Franklin. It's not really jazz, but it's a female, and put it on the test list. And then let's find just one more to show you how easy it is. Billie Holiday, and put her on that playlist. And there we go. So now if I go to playlists and I look at this test playlist, it's got all the Anna Karam songs and Aretha Franklin songs, and then there was only one Billie Holiday song on that track that I selected. So making playlists is very, very easy and very superior. Bottom line, this is absolutely by far and away the best user interface on a portable device I've ever seen, and I absolutely think it's terrific. It's a joy to use. Everything is just one or two buttons away. Very, very powerful. Can play lots and lots of music on this device, and can play from terabytes of music that you might have on a home server. Just really excellent. So great user interface.